Is this thing on? I think yours is on, bro. Thank you for that presidential intro, Adam. It's good. Felt really good. How did that feel in your body? Wookie approves. Yeah, so this is going to be emergent, as Daniel mentioned, and the 12 people here are about to get a focal activation. I think we're going to open with some breath and open a portal right now to a dimension of golden age humanity, dreamporting, and peak alien performance. Does that sound good to y'all? So it feels like kind of a lazy morning. It's Sunday. Normally I do some pretty young breath activation, but I'm getting some guidance to just go a little more yin. So if you can hear my voice anywhere in this Akashic haven, just like sit up in your seat, get your feet flat on the ground, tailbone really rooted, and I just invite you to close your eyes and then take the tip of your tongue and touch it to the roof of your mouth. Just keeping the lips gently pressed. We're going to take a huge inhale to the nose. And out through the nose. Again, a big inhale in. And out. This time, inhale all the way to the top. And hold there. And then gently clench Mula Bandha. Like pulling your perineum just a little bit. And release. Exhale slowly out of the nose. And hold the breath out. Excuse me. A little activated there. Hold the breath out just for 2 seconds before bringing in another breath. You start going at your own pace. You can play with that Mula Bandha. Letting that energy rise and fall. And wherever you are, we're going to take one last breath together, pulling in all the way to the top, holding at the top, sipping in some more at the nose. Really clench. Feel the energy rising, fortifying, energizing us. And then exhale out of the mouth, release the tongue. I don't know about y'all, but I feel pretty activated. How you feel, Daniel?
Great. Really excited to be here with all of you. And today we're going to talk about dreamporting, Flowstates, and essentially just moving into a deeper portal to the life of your dreams. And sometimes I like to see reality and our consciousness like a DJ booth where we can have access to different levers and move things along. You know, sometimes I like to play music automatically and I pick a song and my mind just starts playing it while I do different activities. Who here can do that? I'm just curious.
Who has an MP3 player in their brain?
Nice. Yeah, so that's just one of many things that are pretty easy to do, and once you know that you're able to do it, you can just tap into that. So, you know, what if I told you that you can do that with vibrations, with feelings, and just start like a screensaver on a desktop, like automatically moving different feelings, different vibrations to optimize your life.
Well, this is really important, right? Because there's a lot of talk in the spiritual community about being empowered and being sovereign and being in control of XYZ, but there's actually a science to it. And that's what I've been really interested in, is mapping the flow state, which I just want to describe real quick. It directly relates to dreamporting. The flow state is a physiological, neurological, and metaphysical state, let's say, that a human being can enter when they experience a loss of a sense of self. So it's like the inner critic shuts off. You experience timelessness and spacelessness. So wherever you are, you feel like you're at the center of the universe, of the space you're in, and time dilation happens, which is an hour passes in a flow state and it feels like 10 because it's so full. Another thing that happens is, really powerful altered states come online, or mystical states, inspirational states, whatever you want to call them, where new data, creativity, art, ideas, feelings kind of come in, and you don't know where they came from. It's a sure sign you're in a flow state. And the last one is you're in peak performance. It's like the Tao. It's like you're using the least effort, but having the most impact. You ever been in a state like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have. And what's cool is, snowboarders, professional, and different athletes use this to hack into that state to have peak performance. But we can actually live in that state more and more. And a big key to that too is using our intuition, so we can actually remote view in a way of the future. It's pretty easy actually. Let's say you're invited tonight to 2 different events here in Bali. You can just merge with each reality for a minute and feel in your gut and your heart what each one feels like. And maybe one of them might feel a little contracted and one of them might feel more expansive. You might even get some visions or just know that I know I'm just going to meet someone special there. Something's going to happen that I really want to happen. And so by taking a little time every day and tuning into the portals that are in your life, you can actually optimize, the journey of life. I see it kind of like surfing, where we can catch different waves, and I like to call them timelines, right? And science is catching up to masters 2,000 years ago that, told us that we're in a quantum reality. We're shifting to one quantum self, quantum timeline to another with every choice point. And yet there are bigger timelines too, like bigger ways that have to do with all the thoughts that we have, especially the dominating thoughts that we have, the belief systems, the script that we're running. And so when we have negative thoughts, because we're actually manifesting not just from our consciousness, but from our subconscious, which just living on planet Earth has been hijacked a bit. So we want to collapse negative timelines. And that can just be as easy as visualizing a violet flame, or some way just to decide like no, and just shift your focus into something new. And there are more exercises for that. And then really just shifting into the wave that you want. And you'll feel like a portal in the distance coming. So there's a way that you can actually prepare and move through to really leap into a new level of this video game called life, into the life of your dreams.
Yeah, and these two ideas like definitely synchronize. And we've experienced this with each other, where, like, for example, we have 2 options. It's like we can be creative, write some content, film some content, like anchor a business idea, or what we call drifting. We can kind of drift, scroll on social media, go on a downward spiral about time, money, energy, or attention. And like in that moment, if you have awareness, you can step back and see, oh wow, one of these timelines is draining, and you can like feel into remote view it, like you said, and it feels like kind of contracted. And right in that moment, you can just collapse it. It's like, oh, okay. And then like lean in to the timeline that feels expansive and like an upward spiral. And your decisiveness, just like a surfer, right? If you're paddling out, you have to pick a wave and paddle into it decisively. And this is where your dominating thoughts, your emotional state have to sync all together. And speaking of ancient masters, just to like rattle off a number of things that are designed to do this: Qigong, yoga, pranayama, tantra, physical moving meditations or techniques. And there's, you're in Ubud, there's like literally a buffet of techniques here you can study. These are all designed to actually put you in the optimal state with decisiveness to navigate timelines and reality DJing, your experience.
Right, and so you can start mapping these and see what actually works for you to put you in a higher state. And it can be, basic breath work and things like that. You can also, we watched a video the other day. I was just like, I felt it, watched this 5-minute video, and it just put us in such a state for hours. Because it just opened up our empathy, our heart, just blew our minds. And so, maybe some of us need more empathy every day in the morning, or open our hearts. What dials need to be optimized in the morning or throughout the day?
Like, for example, this video was just like, it was like Odessa, moment apart. It was just really, what was the Try Guys? It was like this video about this man coming out about being gay, and it was like so intensely emotional, no words. And so we were like mapping it with the flow state, so like turned on more energy and more empathy. It's like we moved those levers.
Yeah, we have mirror neurons, and so when someone is doing something amazing, we can not just feel it, but go into that portal, and then our possibilities open. And so we can really re-architect the way that we're perceiving reality. And of course, scientifically, with quantum science, that actually changes our reality around us, not just within us. And so, from that, then the sky's the limit. And so, when we want to prepare for like a giant portal jump into a new archetype, maybe we're calling in, or just really shifting into a deeper life of our dreams, then sometimes it helps to close some tabs, seeing what is in the way, what are the cobwebs in our reality. Maybe we need to call someone from our past, or just finish some things that we have been putting off, and just kind of clearing the way to allow red carpet into our dreams. And I like to use the metaphor too of like packing your lunch. Like when we were kids, like our mom packed our lunchbox. And so when we know that we're gonna teleport to the life of our dreams, we can really just prepare things along the way, like small things from like new playlists to, getting a new outfit that we'll wear to like anchor in that new archetype, that identity. So just preparing the way is really helpful. And then when you decide to just jump through the wormhole, then that's when things get interesting. And a lot of times we'll get tested. And so things might come up from the past, obstacles might just, come up right against you. And it's really important to transmute and use alchemy here as fast as possible, because every adversity is actually something that's preparing you for what you really asked for. And so if something comes up that feels out of alignment, then it's important to zoom out and really tune into why is this happening. Maybe there's a hidden belief that needs to be shifted. Maybe, there's infinite possibilities there. Just asking yourself the questions, forgiveness, using the tools that you have, and it's going to realign you even deeper, and actually you can use it for more fuel. I had something a few months ago that happened that was extremely difficult for me and challenging, and it really hit a low point due to someone that really unethically did some things to me. And then I transmuted it and realized, wow, I really actually needed that in order to not give my power away and really shift into a much deeper
It's like a wake-up call.
It was
back
huge.
into your flow state.
Yeah, exactly. And if that didn't happen, I still would have been out of alignment in some ways, and wouldn't have so much happened from that. It's been a great few months. So
Yeah, these are the proverbial dragons. Because another map I like the flow states, dreamporting, like magic, like surfing consciousness, and then the hero's journey, right? Like Joseph Campbell, Carl Jung's archetypal journey. And there's basically 3 acts. There's a call to adventure, which is like something is calling me out there. I see the portal. And then there's a confrontation with the dragon, or the dark night of the soul, which is difficulty, which actually increases the chances that you can enter a flow state because your miracle abilities and your problem solving is being called upon. And so as humanity, we actually grow when we face challenge with the right attitude. Like if you face challenge as a victim or collapse, that's when the trauma can just pile on, and it actually is a sum total negative experience. But if you face confrontations with these dragons in our life, whatever you want to call them, I actually see dragons as my ally. But there's a tradition. Yeah, there's a tradition in the West where like dragons are to be slain. They're more like these fellows over here. These are the things we're confronting in the world. GMOs and war and zombie media. Anyway, if we face those with decisiveness and confront that energy, we actually enter the proximal zone of development, where it's just hard enough to test us, and we're just stressed enough to turn our flow state and Dreamporting online. And then the third act is the return home with the elixir, with the new portal, the new outfit, the new playlist. It's gonna be simple stuff, a new group of friends, new business.
Yeah, exactly. And it also awakens our decisiveness. When I was living with an African shaman for close to a year, and we were doing these deep plant journeys, he said, there's only one rule: you have to mean it 100%, whatever you want. And when I started journeying, I realized, wow, I wasn't really truly meaning things. I took life kind of like a joke, because I was raised that way. And so it's kind of like we're moving from a car on the freeway into a jet, into a starship. And the starships is connected to your consciousness where you want to go. You have to really decide. And so these adversities sometimes come to really test us, and then we get to really make a choice because there's enough pressure to really just choose fully. And then once that happens, everything just opens up, and it's absolutely amazing, because then you have the opportunity to really flow on that wave and leave your past, all the baggage, a lot of the limitations that we were programmed with, and just open up into these new wings that take us on this wild portal of miracles. Right?
Wild portaling. I'm actually getting a code. I'm like synthesizing new material right now. This is good. So in the past, humanity's been in survival consciousness, and fear has triggered the decisiveness most. And here we're at the New Earth Haven. The New Earth is learning how to be just as decisive in love as fear. Because I think love, whatever you want to call it, utopia, heaven, nirvana, this like epic, like blissful, expanded state. My experience of it and my experience in the community, like this dog right now, is like pure, just like, oh, it's so good, and like blissed out, and like being really decisive from that place. I don't know if it comes naturally. Like it's like kind of a training and a commitment. Whereas fear, like a car's about to hit you, you're gonna be real decisive. You're not gonna hesitate. You're not gonna like dilly-dally and dither. It's like, boom, it happens. And that's the kind of energy that the universe and the quantum field most responds to.
And that's why using your intuition and divination actually really helps a lot too, because sometimes in this video game called life, we're meant to just really wait and observe and reflect and not make reactive choices, and sometimes we're just meant to go for it. And so there's different archetypes and energies you can work with. And so, using your own intuition, sometimes I like to use the Viking runes, which they've used for thousands of years, and it tells you it really accurately.
Tarot cards, the I Ching. There's a lot of ancient divination tools that kind of function as an overlay to map the subconscious mind. And so that's a fun tool. Like, we've used runes and tarot a lot, which is great. I've worked with the I Ching for a while. It's like the oldest book in China. It's like a supercomputer of quantum intelligence where you can interact with it directly through symbols. Symbols are really important. Runes, personal symbols to activate these new layers of consciousness.
Yeah, it's all about cycles, and the more you know what cycle you're in, the more you can surf and gracefully move through these portals and timelines. And so, yeah, we've been definitely working with those a lot. It's been really helpful. And, as you're getting feedback from the universe and knowing where you're at and flowing with it, you're also being decisive, so it's balancing the masculine and the feminine. And that's how you optimize those two. And then you find the perfect balance to really surf and optimize those timelines and manifest. And the more that you are aligned, and the more spirit can come through, and the more you can actually be of service to the world. Because you're not playing small, you're not being a victim to negative timelines, negative thoughts. And more, you're just optimizing your flow and your vibration, which then allows you to do so much more for yourself, for your family, for your community. So that's living in a state of flow.
Yeah. Let's synthesize like 4 pearls, 2 each right now, and just gel what we've been riffing on here. I'll do my first. Number 1 is map your flow triggers. And it might be counterintuitive. You might think like 2 hours of hot yoga puts me in the best state, and then you're exhausted and irritable and you overeat. Actually, your flow trigger was having sex, or breathing in a cold shower, or free writing or free drawing. That's a really big one. It's like, it may be counterintuitive what triggers you entering a flow state. So be really curious about that. Pearl 1. Pearl 2 is, like you just said, know what part of the hero's journey you're in. Are you getting a call to adventure that you're not answering, and that's why it feels like you're stuck? Or maybe you just confronted a dragon and you're still trying to quest, and it's time to return home and synthesize the insights, right? This is like archetypal. And I know I've struggled with this, where I thought I needed to crusade when I had just won the war, right? And this can be in business and love and personal development. So number 2, map your cycle, know where you're at on the map.
Yeah, those are great pearls. Also, for me, intuition is number 1. So we all want to, just like work on our body, work on our intuition. That means detoxifying the pineal gland and physical detox, as well as releasing protection mechanisms in our third eye and our belief system that's been blocking us from our intuition. I do this with a lot of people, and sometimes it just takes like 3 to 5 minutes. We really just tune in and find out that there's a part of our consciousness that's scared of waking up more and seeing more and feeling more. And so the more that we do that, the more we tune in with our intuition, the less of the hard lessons we have to feel, and the more we can just really flow. And number 2 for me is happy lunchbox, right? So let's say you're ready to dive into a deeper portal here. Just set some things up along the way, like have a new playlist made, have a new outfit, do something you've always wanted to do. So, a week from now, when you reach that point, you have a celebration ready. Celebrating is a great way to anchor in that new timeline and really allow yourself to raise your vibration and build confidence, which we need in order to co-create reality. And then when we do that, we're able to really, be the person that we're here to be for this planet right now. It's calling all of us to be here to really serve and to inspire others and inspire ourselves. And so when we put that extra love even into our future, not just our present, we allow that confidence to build and our abilities to dream and serve reality to expand enough to really live the life of our dreams and help remind others and really usher in this golden age together through these tools.
Felt good. Thank you guys for hosting us and listening. May your golden age be full of flow states and dream portals.
You guys have like 8 more minutes or 5 more minutes.
Questions?
So there's some questions.
Yeah.
Q&A.
Shout out some questions, man.
What are your best tips to activate more your intuition?
Going through a detoxification is great. Borax decahydrates a mineral that's boron, and it really pulls out fluoride and detoxifications not just in your pineal gland but your whole body. So that's one of the most powerful things I've found that have raised my intuition. Sometimes plant medicines like iboga, I love, that's really helped me. But we don't need those plant medicines.
In order in the cafe, actually.
Yeah, so there are a lot of tools for that. But I think the most important is not just the physical, it's really closing the taps. A lot of times there's so much interference with old things we haven't cleared. Anytime you're having a thought that's looping, that's coming back, you haven't fully faced it and you haven't resolved it. So it's important to write those all down, just go back, and the more layers you just close, the more the aperture, the window to the intuition comes through. And also realize there's so many different types of intuition. There's claircognizance, like for me, I have that very strong. I just know things. Some people say they have trouble visualizing, but they can feel. They're clairsentient, they're empathic. And so just not judging your intuition and really also finding out which ones come naturally to you and developing those. And then other ones might just naturally pop up. So it's a practice. Journaling really helps. Just really tuning in, especially when you're getting an insight, follow it and learn through that metacognition where you can look back and realize, like, oh wow, this happened and now this happened. And then the more you do that, the more you learn and the more you master your intuition.
There's actually, it's very in the science side. They study this, it's called the 5-second rule. I forget the name of the author, it's this woman. This is well studied in psychology. If you start counting back from 5, like you say you have a decision to make. It's like, you want to go here or here?
Mel Robbins.
Yeah, Mel Robbins. In the first 3 to 5 seconds, before your prefrontal cortex feedback loops, that's your intuition. And like, it might be clairsentient. Like for me, I feel it in my body. I don't like see or hear it, I feel it. Versus like claircognizant, I just know the answer. So it's like experimenting with that.
How does it work from 5 to?
Like you start like say like, do you want to go to Akasha or Zest tonight? Silly example. It's like, oh, I don't know, wait, 5, 4, and like right there, something's gonna drop in. Like a clear yes or no. The thing is, most of us are conditioned, like wait, rationalize, weigh your options, wait. That's when the mind can come in. You make a decision based on that, and you reflect, and you're like, how is this not of alignment? So your intuitionary stuff.
But just to rebound on that, how do you differentiate?
Okay, thanks. Then, there's a really good point, but then how do you differentiate when it's, like if you think really fast, okay, I want to go to Zest, or let's say more important decisions in your life, is it my intuition talking to me and I'll follow that? Or is it a programming in me that makes me want to do this? Because sometimes there's something I'll be very uncomfortable with at first, and actually it's because I was programmed to be uncomfortable for this. So how do you, see, that's intuition, I follow this, or that's a programming and I actually should delve into that uncomfortable feeling because that's where the growth is.
That's a great, hello, that's a great question. Essentially, setting the intention to ask your intuition, sometimes it's just to take a breath and quiet your minds. Different people have different ways that they get messages. So for you, if your mind's very active, and it might be better to use your feeling. And so instead of trying to ask for auditory messages or thoughts, you can just tune into the different options and see what feels more expansive, what not. And then you might try a few different ways, and then you'll see what's actually accurate and find, okay, this is the best way for me to tune into my intuition. And as you're doing that, also like use some of these other tools to clear the programming, clear the overactive mind, and really soon you're going to find a system that works for you. So because there's different types of strengths in people's intuition, and also different ways that people perceive. Some people are more visual, and they'll just get a flash of like, yes to this, or like, go to Akasha. So the more you journal about, even if you just take a week and tested it every day and tuned in, that's going to create a world of difference because it's going to allow you to really learn what works best for you.
Yes, I get a little bit muddled up, but I think it's a free state when your anxiety is such before an event. You think, is this my gut telling me I shouldn't go? I've had that twice, and one time I got myself into severe shit. I nearly didn't survive it. I pushed myself, feel the fear and do it anyway. And then a second time, it's actually going to an ayahuasca retreat in Peru, where I was stressed and hardly able to get out the door to go on the plane. So the terror was quite huge. But I'm really glad I went because it got me out of where I was. I get a little confused about my so-called intuition with that anxiety-free state. So
Well, there's a way for me, and again, it'll show up at different in everyone's body, but the difference between an anxious state and a highly excited state is very subtle. Because too much excitement and stimulation in your nervous system can appear as anxiety on the mental level if you're not channeling it, leaning in, you're not physically, mentally, emotionally clear. And like this is everything from like hydration and diet all the way up to beliefs and like spirituality. So for me, like danger is real, but fear is an illusion, right? It's kind of like cliche thing. So sometimes it's like, let's jump off this cliff, and your gut's like, fuck no, and you're like, it's my intuition, like, I just gotta do it, I'm excited, and you almost die. It's like, there's a discernment in that, and yeah, I feel like the only way to find out is to test it, and test it on things that are non-life-threatening.
externalized threatening model was my biggest teacher.
Yeah, and there's the pearl in that.
how do you recommend reprogramming those old, deeply, deeply rooted patterns that, like, I see like time as one, like someone's always running late, or these like, they're deep. What are your recommendations on those like ancient chords and kind of things that you decide, I want to rewrite this? How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, I know we've all done deep work on programming just for here, right? So there's really core ones, like you said, like always being late. It's tied to an identity. It's tied to, perhaps sabotaging a deeper level of success, or whatever you define as that. So it's first looking into the definitions of what will happen if I'm always on time, or just doing my best to keep integrity with my word, or just optimizing the flow and the opportunities. And then we need to actually shift into that new identity. So reprogramming a negative belief only goes so far, because there's beliefs and there's traumas, and then there's a whole script where we're playing a character. And so that's why like Dreamporting and some of the tools we use, we need help with that, because it helps us populate different details and a different flow so that we can really have the confidence and remember who we are. Because oftentimes we forget, just like the story of Hanuman, where he forgot who he really was, and only when someone reminded him that his superpowers came back online. And so, creating an environment where you can remember who you really are, which is the new identity, that the part of you that you repressed, or that from being in society that's been shut down, that's going to really help you to build momentum. So momentum is going to help you to just change your state, and then when you're in a higher state, you don't need to do all that deprogramming, because you're above the water again. You're naturally wanting to be on time and do that right when you're in that state. So the more we architect our lives to be in our true state, or a higher state, then the easier things be. So definitely, doing some work on the whole programming is important, but even more important than that is curating an environment where we really thrive and remember who we are.
One more question?
We'll do one more.
What would you say?
Thanks.
Yeah, so I know this has been a thing for both of you, but more down like around, when we open up the upper centers, the higher chakras, and especially in these communities and accessing intuition, what would be your biggest advice to people in that state to really ground the energy and actually bring into, bringing the upper realms into this realm, so for people to ground when are naturally open in the psychic? Make it physical, probably it's more fused.
Yeah. It's good. We talk about this all the time. And we talk about like your masteries, like the upper three, like the heart being the bridge, and I feel like I've worked a lot mastering the lower three chakras. I assume everybody knows what a chakra is. Like the more you open upper abilities, intuition, clairaudience, clairvoyance, doing plant medicine ceremonies, doing really intense Kundalini yogas or higher forms of these like psychic arts, the more important it becomes to come into a right relationship with money, sex, and power, which are the lower animal energies. So if you are psychic AF, and going to 30 ayahuasca retreats, but you're like $40,000 in debt, it's like, you're kind of like a balloon. Like you're just floating, and your lower body's like this little string, like you're barely on the earth. And that's probably not serving you or your community. And the same thing with sexuality. It's like you can psychically tune into something, but in a leaky, non-loving way, you have like 20 partners or something like that. I'm just being exaggerating right now, but yeah, things like eating well and like making sure you're in the right relationship with taxes and money. Even though we're forming the new earth, it's like we render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's. So it's like, that's how I see it. Like the more high you go, the more important you root down. That's the only way it can be stabilized. Otherwise, something's gonna pop.
Yeah, and the more happy you are in your physical environment, the easier it is for you to want to stay here, and because you're happy, you don't need to escape into the higher realms or what have you too. So environment is key, and so I'll leave you with that. been an honor to share a little bit with you, and if you'd like to ask more questions or hear more about.
You want to share what you're working on real quick before we go?
Yeah, I work a few things, but I offer Dreamporting programs for individuals and groups to help them really curate this whole journey into the new levels of their dreams. So happy to answer any questions about that.
Yeah, for me, it's all about Flowstates right now. I'm launching an online course called Flowstate Mastery in 6 weeks, mapping flow triggers, being one every day, and then I'm doing a 5-day immersive retreat called the Temple of Flow in Costa Rica. So, yeah, come talk to us after. Thanks for having us. Can I introduce you? Yeah. So our next speaker.